Good morning. Greetings to all of you at this particular moment. I hope you are doing well. I hope everything is running out so nicely, and I would like also to say that from my side, I'm doing so good, and I'm happy today for this opportunity to come here and talk about this issue. Maybe there are those who know it and there are those who doesn't know about it. But in fact, today is an election day, is the election day here in England and Wales. So we have the Liberals and the Democrats. So we expect to have a new government soon. Yes, that is so. There's somewhere I said about what I thought, because this was kind of hereditary, because we have a king and a queen who are governing this country. But I was surprised to find that there's elections. So one thing which caught me is the deportation of the Rwandese Asylums, those who came to seek for refugee, those who just came as refugees from Rwanda. They are being deported, and there's a lot which is happening. And I'm going to attach a clip in this video, which the national television showing what is happening. And one thing which has really touched me, and I never knew that it is happening, that people are arrested, they are taken into police stations where they are kept before they are deported back home. So maybe you can ask, how are they deported? So my dear friends, it is something which is ongoing, and of course they are being paid 3,000 Great Britain pounds, 3,000 Great Britain pounds, which is around around 4.5 million Kenyan shillings, which of course is a lot of money in Rwanda, because in Rwanda, be sure it is more than 10 million Rwandese francs, that is. So they are being given 3,000 pounds as compensation. The government pays for them the flights. The government, after they are being arrested, the government pays for them accommodation until the time they are deported back to Rwanda. But honestly, one thing caught my eye is there is demonstrations. Yes, when these Rwandese are being arrested, they are singing, they are demonstrating, and they are against this act of being taken back to Rwanda. Maybe they have a reason why they are against this, and they are singing songs which you are going to listen to the video which I'm going to attach here, and you are going to get more. You're going to get more of this story. So this is Kenya, UK, and I thought it is better, it is good for me, so that I can talk about this thing. On my side, the government is always right to make a decision and to act on it. So if the government has decided that it is going to deport, not import, but deport these Aslams, it is right and we cannot go against it. And as Africans who are living in England, in the United Kingdom, because it is two countries which are reporting the Aslams, that is England and Wales. And these two countries, England and Wales, they constitute what is called the United Kingdom. It is their right, it is the government's right to do it, because it has valid reasons which makes it to do this. So whatever they are doing, it's right to them, and they have a reason. And today being an election day, yes, I registered, but the fun thing is I don't know now to vote, because voting is either online or you go to the post office. Yes, it is not like Kenya, where I come from, where voting is you go to maybe a primary school, maybe a church, where a polling station is located. You check the register and then you vote. But for this case here, you don't have those. It is either you do it online or you go to a post office and you vote from there. And another thing maybe about this voting, imagine you apply for you to be put in the voting or in the electoral register. Yes, you apply and you wait for the results. For me, I applied to be included in the voting register, that is in the register, but honestly, I've not received any email confirming that I was accepted to vote. So I'm going to check on my email so that I can see if really do I qualify to to vote, because I like politics. I like taking part in electing leaders. So if I get that I'm given that opportunity to vote, I'm going to do it without fear, without hesitating, and I'm going to support someone. Of course, I saw one guy from Uganda. He wants to be the MP of this borough. In fact, here it is a borough, so it is not a constituency, but we have the Southern Borough, we have the Western Borough, and we have the Kingston Borough, and all those. So I'm going to take part in these elections, and I believe I'll take part, and in fact I will be very happy, because this will be my first election in the United Kingdom, so that I can take part. I can exercise my right to vote. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kenya, UK, and more of such news are going to come over this channel, and I also do travel channels. I show people around as I walk from one place to another. And one thing I would like to request you guys is to subscribe, please. When you meet this channel for the first time, remember to subscribe. Watch the video to the end, and as always, your boy Mkenya UK is here to show you around, live in London, West London. and all shall be well. It shall be well. So now let's go to the clip. Please listen to this clip and hear what was happening, and see how these Aslams are being deported. What is the citizens' take on the government decision to deport the Aslams? Do they support or don't they support? So here is the clip. Let's watch.
Well, the local elections are tomorrow, Kieran, and in the lead-up, we've had almost daily headlines about Rwanda. The latest, that a man who had his asylum application rejected by the British government has become the first person to agree to voluntarily go to the East African country with a resettlement payment of £3,000. Now, that particular scheme will, of course, cost taxpayers much more when you take into consideration the cost of flights, accommodation, payments to the Rwandan government. The National Audit Office has raised questions about the cost effectiveness of both Rwanda schemes, because separate to that voluntary arrangement, the government today confirmed, as we reported yesterday on our programme, that they've started arresting and detaining people ahead of enforced deportations to Rwanda. Now, for Rishi Sunak, there's a lot riding on this. After tomorrow's election results, he could come under pressure from plotters within his own party. He's gambling on Rwanda. He believes it's an election winner. Although the polls suggest there is some support, it is more nuanced than this. And today the government came under some criticism for releasing a Home Office video set to music of those arrests and detentions. In the week of the local elections, amid noisy protests, the detentions have begun. The government's now confirmed what we reported on Channel 4 News last night, that people seeking asylum are being arrested and held ahead of being flown to Rwanda in around 10 weeks' time. This is what it looks and feels like. In Loughborough, we filmed this man, surrounded by officers, escorted into a van in handcuffs with 3 others. On the phone, Mohammed told me how he felt.
We are very scared now. They told us they will take us to Rwanda.
Asylum seekers, welcome here.
The government said its operational teams have been working at pace to safely and swiftly detain individuals. In contrast to these scenes of protest outside immigration reporting centres, the Home Office released this video. Set to music, it shows officers raiding people's homes and arresting them. No context is given, so we don't know who they are, where they'll be detained, and how many will actually end up on flights to Kigali.
The first illegal migrants set to be removed to Rwanda have now been detained following a series of nationwide operations this week.
This minister comes here today proud of this tawdry, pathetic, self-defeating piece of fascist nonsense.
It's understood around 5,000 people seeking asylum have been identified for removal, although it isn't clear how many Rwanda will be able to initially accommodate. Among those who've been told they may be deported is a man we're calling Ahmed.
I was working as an intelligence analyst and supporting the RAF forces back there in Afghanistan and the British Embassy.
He asked not to be identified because, he claims, he worked in intelligence alongside British RAF officers. He says he was proud of his work with the coalition to rebuild his country.
It was a fulfilling task that we used to do because we had a goal of democracy and to stabilize the country and to have a prosperous country, which unfortunately didn't happen at the end.
In the chaos of the Allied withdrawal after the Taliban takeover, Ahmed couldn't get onto an evacuation flight, so he fled overland to a neighbouring country. He applied to come to the UK legally under the Arab scheme. His solicitor confirmed he got no response for 18 months, and so he came here via a small boat across the channel. But his application was then rejected and he received a Rwanda letter, which he's legally challenging.
It feels like a betrayal, because the government promised something and did something completely opposite. And all I'm asking is for the government to fulfill their promise.
The government argues that there were legal routes for people under the Arab scheme, so why didn't you wait and take that route?
Well, I actually agree with the government because they say there are legal routes, but they are not functioning. If something exists but does not function, what is the use of it?
When the Rwanda bill was going through its fraught journey through the Lords, it was partly held up because of the issue of Afghan veterans. In the end, the government said it would make a concession for those with a credible link to Afghan special forces, who'd have their claims reassessed by an independent body. It was with some relief that the Prime Minister got the bill through. His political future depends on the controversial plan, and he insists the public is with him.
People are starving over here, homelessness, it's ridiculous. So I personally think it's a good idea to send them to Rwanda.
There's a lot of anger and shame that my country is doing this, our country is doing this, and there's a lot of hurt and heartbreak.
Not entirely convinced all of it's the right way forward. Doesn't seem like a very cost-effective option either.
The government may well be hoping that the images of these detentions will be a deterrent and stop the boats. This, as today new figures show, more than 7,500 people made the dangerous journey in the first 4 months of this year, a 27% increase on the same period last year.
Well, as we've been hearing, the government just sent a failed asylum seeker to Rwanda and it paid him £3,000 to go. But how much will it really cost? We've been taking a closer look and the true cost to British taxpayers is much, much larger. Now, this isn't the main Rwanda policy that's dominated politics for 2 years. That's about forcing some asylum seekers to East Africa to have their claims processed there. This is a voluntary scheme for people still in the UK whose applications have already failed. The government is now offering these people up to £3,000 to move to Rwanda. But the true cost is much, much more, as British taxpayers are also paying Rwanda for every individual they take. That's because people who go to Rwanda by choice can get the same relocation package in Rwanda as those sent by force. Housing, food, healthcare for up to 5 years, costing the UK taxpayer up to £140,000 just about for every person who chooses to go, we estimate, using figures from the National Audit Office. That's on top of the £370 million the government will pay to set up the forced and voluntary Rwanda schemes. Well, the Home Office told us the policy allows people to be relocated to what it describes as a safe third country, where they will be supported. It says removal flights to Rwanda will take off in the next 9 to 11 weeks to deter people crossing the channel. Krish.
Thanks. Well, in Dublin, police have moved in to clear a tent encampment set up by asylum seekers. Some 200 tents were removed from the city centre and their occupants relocated to the south of the capital. Our Foreign Affairs correspondent, Porrick O'Brien, is in Dublin. Porrick.
Krish, we're a few streets over from Leinster House here, the Houses of Parliament in Dublin. And over the last couple of years, a large encampment of homeless asylum seekers started to develop around the International Protection Office, which is behind me here. There were about 200 tents there, and today the Gardaí contractors moved in to clear that site, and the operation went smoothly. We've been down at that camp quite a lot recently. Conditions there were squalid, businesses were complaining about it, but crucially, the site was totemic, I suppose, of the struggle that the Irish government have been having when it comes to managing immigration. There are around 1,700 asylum seekers homeless in the Irish state at the moment, people that the Irish government have struggled to accommodate. 2 large groups of men were brought to 2 different sites on the outskirts of Dublin, asylum centres on the outskirts of Dublin today. One of those sites has been the subject of anti-migrant demonstrations, so we are keeping an eye on that this evening. The backdrop to all of this, though, is this fraught political row we've seen between London and Dublin over the last few days. The Minister for Justice here said that the vast majority of asylum seekers coming into the Republic had come via Britain, the implication being that they were doing so deterred by the Rwanda effect. There is a lot of political posturing, though, going on here. From the Irish government's point of view, they can point at Rwanda and say, see, there are larger numbers coming in, we are struggling to manage it. And of course, from Rishi Sunak's point of view, with an election, local elections tomorrow, he can appear robust on the sovereignty of British borders and, of course, can get, let's face it, what is a rare win when it comes to his Rwanda policy. He can say, see, yes, there is a deterrent effect. People are leaving the United United Kingdom and coming to Ireland to claim asylum.
Porrick O'Brien.
Yes, now that is it. That's what we have for you here. So you have listened to the news, you've listened to what the press has said, you have seen how these people are arrested, you have heard the songs they are singing, and you have seen everything from the press, the government decision to deport these Aslams, and in fact we have a lot of them. People say that they are running away from their country to just come and get refuge in this country. Of course, it is some pretend, others are real Islams. But the only thing which we need to know now is it really Islams, or they are just not Islams? And my advice to those who want to come over, please, you need to follow the right way to just come, because the road to come to United Kingdom is much easier, is much clear, it is not complicated. So long as you have the requirements, so long as you have what they need, you just present your papers and a decision will be made. So there's no need for you to create shortcuts for you to come over. Please just follow the right procedure and all shall be well. You will find yourself in this country. Of course, everybody wants to be in Europe. Everybody wants to be in a country like this. But following or taking a shortcut is not part of the game. Otherwise, you find yourself in a hot soup. So, to this point, once again, let me say thank you very much for tuning and watching up to this point. This is Mukenya UK. Please remember to hit that subscription button if you are meeting this channel for the first time. Like this video, share, and also comment. So thank you very much for watching. See you in the next episode. Bye.